Well, with warm weather like this, it is definitely planting season, and maybe you are thinking about adding some flowers or maybe even some trees to your landscape. But before you get started, there are a few things that you need to think about, especially the height and size of the landscape, especially with DTE rolling out their spring cleaning initiative around power lines. Kim DeGiulio is here to explain why the type of tree you choose is important and how to make sure you don't waste your money.
Back in 2019, DTE launched a tree trimming initiative to examine every neighborhood that they service and make sure that the trees that are growing there aren't too close to their electrical lines. Well, we caught up with them as they were trimming trees in Hazel Park. A few branches coming down now can make a big difference in the future if a serious storm hits your neighborhood.
We know that half the time customers are without power, it's actually due to trees or limbs falling onto their lines. And so it's really important to us that we're out here proactively clearing our electrical equipment ahead of the summer, ahead of storm season.
Rachel Steidel, director of tree trimming at DTE, tells me by the end of this year, DTE will have completed trimming their entire service territory. An initiative that was launched in 2019, helping their customers stay on the grid, but more importantly, keeping the community safe.
We're thinking about how do we ensure that the lights stay on, but also if a tree limb breaks, it may actually cause a wire down, right? And so these are dangerous electrical lines that we don't want anywhere near people or pets, and just want to make sure they stay up in the air, which is why it's so critical we're doing our proactive trimming program.
So here's a great example of a tree that DTE just trimmed. You can see these branches have been trimmed back to the main trunk, giving it a clear 15 feet distance away from these power lines. And speaking of having an appropriate distance from these lines, you need to be strategic when you're planting trees, keeping the tree's full maturity size in mind.
So when you're looking at planting trees, you want to make sure that any tree that's within 20 feet of our lines is under 20 feet at maturity.
DTE General Supervisor Jennifer Boker says these are trees like arborvitae and star magnolia. If you're planting at a distance between 20 and 50 feet away from a line, that tree can mature up to 45 feet, like a flowering dogwood or a redwood tree. But before planting any tree in your yard, it's the law to call Miss Dig. That's 6477344, or you can just dial 811. This service sends an expert to your house within 3 days of calling, all to ensure that it's safe to plant and where you can dig without coming into contact with anything that could be dangerous.
There are lines that can be electrical underneath. You can have cable lines running underneath. There's lots of different utilities that you can come across.
Now here's an example of a tree that you may want to plant in your yard, and you can see it's a pretty small tree. It may look cute in your yard, but this is a flamethrower redbud, and it's going to grow up to 15 to 20 feet. So it's super important that you call Miss Dig. Also, talk to your local nursery. They know how big these trees will grow, and they can inform you on that and educate you so you make sure that you pick the right tree for your space. I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.